today, and that is this. So you see, the state of politics in the country is something that has been, kind of shaky in the past few days. Talking from the political front of the Kenya Kwanza, we've seen some of the issues when it comes to the issues to do with the Secretary General, that is Cleophas Malala. A lot has been happening on that particular front. Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua saying, by the way, I had no idea that this was the plan to oust the Secretary General Cleophas Malala. Of course, he had moved to court and also to seek orders barring that particular decision, but that has not been effective. Also, on the Azimio front, there's clamor for positions that seeks to divide this particular coalition. All right. Now, one particular party has left the coalition, not one, but two parties rather, said they wanted to leave that coalition. I'm talking about NAK Kenya and also the Party of National Unity, led by that is the former agriculture CS Peter Munya, who says that, by the way, we want to leave this particular coalition. We'll also be taking a look at that. And also one party that has been very constant when it comes to dissenting voices as far as politics is concerned in that particular coalition, and also some of the moves that have been made in the last few days, resulting to what could be the end of that particular coalition and also putting that particular party in jeopardy. I'm talking about the Orange Democratic Party. Different positions, members are fighting to fill those kind of positions. That is the position of the chair of that particular party after the nomination of Cabinet Secretary nominee, that is John Badi, who was the chair of the ODM party. Different groups want to fill that particular position. We'll be getting a look at that. Also, the deputy party leader positions, of course, it was filled by that is former Kakamega Governor Wycliffe Oparanya and former Mombasa Governor Ali Hassan Joho, who have now been nominated to serve in the cabinet. Now, you see, this particular nomination of these particular individuals leaves those positions vacant. Now, some of the members of these parties now say, okay, we want to fill these positions. Of course, there's that particular clamor where they're saying it needs to start, this particular position needs to go back to Mombasa County, considering the fact that one of the deputy party leaders, that is Ali Hassan Joho, was actually from Mombasa County. Now, they're seeking to replace that particular individual with Abdul Somad or any other person that is coming from the coast. That is one particular clamor. There's the other faction that says, okay, we also need Gladys Wanga on the table. Women League of the ODM party now say, by the way, this is time for women to actually rise on these particular positions. There's a lot that is happening. Also, Simba Arati being fronted as one of the best contenders when it comes to filling some of these positions that have been left vacant. As far as the National Assembly is concerned, and you're talking about the leader or the leader of minority in the National Assembly, what has happened there is that the party replaced Opio Wandai, who is now a cabinet nominee for the energy docket, with Junet Mohammed, who is now the leader of the minority in the National Assembly. Now, Millie Odhiambo has been fronted to take the position of the minority whip in the National Assembly. Of course, these are some of the changes that happen on that particular political front. Something else that we'll also be looking at, because you're talking about the state of politics in the country, that will be the basis of our conversation. Raila Odinga is headed to the AUC. Now, how is this going to pan out? Well, of course, the former Prime Minister did present his documents before the deadline. That was the 6th of August. And the governments have been spearheading this particular push, and to some extent it looks like they're very successful as far as that particular front is concerned. And now he'll be facing with quite a number of people that are also interested in this particular seat. And I'm also talking about Djibouti, that has been able to front their foreign minister to be able to replace Musa Faki on this particular front as far as the AUC chair is concerned in the East African, in the African continent rather. Now, these are some of the things that we'll be focusing on here on the program to take a look at the state of politics, not just in the country, but also across the continent, because we have interest in this continent as far as the African Union chair is concerned. Now, when we come back to the issues to do with the government and also the issues to do with the National Assembly. Of course, there's been the process of vetting cabinet secretary nominees that has been finalized at the moment, and we do expect that during the morning session today, the members of parliament will be having a conversation, debating a report that will be presented, that is by the Committee on Appointments that carried out the vetting process last week from Thursday all the way to Sunday, vetting the 20 nominees that had been nominated by the president to be able to fill different positions. Now, all these people were vetted, and reports indicate that all of them have been confirmed to fill these particular positions. Of course, some of them coming back into those dockets that they had earlier been dismissed by the president after the Gen Z protests that rocked the country, when they say we want the dissolution of cabinet and we are not going to take anything less. Now, in that particular process of filling these particular positions, the head of state rather reappointed some of the people that he had actually dismissed, and later on added to that particular list some new faces, and also faces from the opposition. Like I was saying earlier, some of the faces from the opposition have led to a vacant in different parties across the country, and those parties now want to fill those positions, making again our conversation on the state of politics here in the country. The vetting process is done. The nominee, that particular report needs to be tabled today in the National Assembly, and once it is tabled, they're going to debate it and approve those particular names that had been vetted on, that is last week from Thursday all the way to Sunday. Now, I do want to take you through some of the news-making headlines this particular morning before we get into the dailies, and also take a look at the conversation that will be shaping the agenda for today. Let's begin. Now, the High Court has blocked the police from arresting and detaining MPs James Mwangi Gakuya and Benjamin Gadhiru, commonly known as Major Dong, who had been under investigations as part of a probe into the funding of the Gen Z protests. Now, this cools down what appears to be escalating pressure on allies of the deputy president, with the duo bridging the total number of Gachagwa's allies questioned to 5. Now, David Kagina tells us more.
Embakasi North Member of Parliament James Gakuya and his Embakasi Central counterpart Benjamin Gadhiru, commonly known as Major Dong, were picked up from Parliament buildings on July 31st and questioned in a probe aimed at identifying the financiers of the Gen Z demonstrations. Following an urgent application by the duo through their lawyer Danstan Omari, Justice Chacha Mwita of the High Court issued orders preventing the police from arresting or detaining the duo MPs as part of the investigations into the funding of the Gen Z protests. And I quote, "In the meantime, a conservatory order is hereby issued restraining the respondent, their agents and or servants from arresting, detaining, confining, pursuing and or in any other way interfering with the petitioner's liberty in connection with the allegations giving rise to this petition until 17th September 2024. The known number of allies of Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua who have been questioned in connection with funding the protest now stands at 5. Former Embakasi West MP Theuri, former Nyeri Town MP and political advisor in the office of the Deputy President Ngonjiri Wambogo, and Gachagua's private secretary Munene Wamumbi were the first to be questioned as detectives worked to uncover the identities of those the government believes bankrolled the protest, which occasionally turned chaotic, leading to looting, destruction of businesses, injuries and deaths. Even as this unfolds, the Deputy President has denied involvement in the predicaments of his allies, citing his recent statement on not being involved in leadership changes within the UDA party.
No one consulted me on the ouster of Cleophas Malala. They evicted him at 5 a.m. That is not how a ruling party should be behaving. As a party deputy leader, I wanted to attend, but by 6 a.m. I was told by my people that the meeting was over.
David Kagina, K24, Nairobi.
He wanted to attend, but by 6 a.m. he was told the meeting was over. Not an early riser, is he? Away from that, the police force now says that it's ready to provide security to peaceful protesters and protect property during the anticipated Thursday anti-government demonstrations. And as Bentura Kwamboka now tells us, however, Deputy Inspector General Administration Police Gilbert Masengeli has defended the presence of uniformed police officers during the protests.
Thursday, the 8th of August, is set to put the new Acting Inspector General of National Police Service, Gilbert Masengeli, to task on how he will handle the planned Gen Z protests dubbed the 99 March. Speaking during a meeting with senior security officials at the Administration Police Training College in Embakasi ahead of the planned anti-government protest on Thursday, the IG has issued a warning to criminal elements targeting to infiltrate the demos that are set to take place across the country.
Everybody, every Kenyan, as per the law, has liberty to demonstrate, picket, and assemble. They have a message they have said and has been heard. They want it to be done as per the law. And in this regard, it is asked the security agencies to ensure to differentiate the real Gen Zs and those who take the opportunist of that riots and whatever, so that they cause mayhem, they cause destruction of property.
This coming in the shadows and concerns over the presence of ununiformed police officers in which the service has come to its defense, saying they are within the confines of the law, urging the protesters to engage in peaceful demos in adherence to the law.
While in uniform, while in civilian, the police officer remains a police officer. But as per the law, that officer who is in civilian should carry his COFA, card of appointment, certificate of appointment, and in this regard, if asked upon, he will produce and identify himself as a police officer. A police vehicle is identified by the color, and if you say that you can see any vehicle and assume it is a police vehicle, then you need to go further to clarify and confirm that this is a real police vehicle.
The 99 demos are aimed at putting pressure on government to account and force exit of the current regime. Bentura Kwamboka, K24, Nairobi.
There's some things that happen in this country call for greater attention on issues to do with when somebody invades and says they are police officers when they are not. Whose responsibility is it to be very concerned? Is it us or the force? Now to matters politics. Cracks within the Azimio coalition are deepening over the fight to control the National Assembly minority positions, with Wiper Party now rubbishing the purported changes announced today, that is yesterday, where Junet Mohammed is poised to take over the minority leader seat and Millie Odhiambo to be the minority whip. Now, according to Wiper, ODM is displaying greed despite already cutting deals with the government on Gen Z's blood. This even as women are mounting pressure to get a slot in the vacant ODM deputy party leader's position.
Wiper Party, through its Secretary General Shakila Abdallah, has called out the ODM party for purporting to having conducted a parliamentary group meeting to effect House leadership positions.
Azimio meeting first has to be called either by both leadership of the houses or by the principals. Since the last meeting which our party leader was insulted at Joff, there has never been any other Azimio meeting.
The Kalonzo Musyoka-led party is accusing ODM of greed, despite already betraying Kenyans and the coalition by joining government.
Not here to fight for positions. We know those positions were created by the blood which was shed by our children. And we're not ready to fight for any of those positions. If they have decided to take the positions, let them take them. Our party leader position was clear. He said it was going to be given.
This comes just hours after ODM SG Edwin Sifuna announced that an Azimio PG meeting had endorsed ODM speak for National Assembly's minority positions.
Kufuatia kuteuliwa kwa Mheshimiwa Pio Wandae kama waziri wa kawi, tuwe na Mheshimiwa Junet Mohammed akichukua nafasi kama kiongozi wa wale walio wachache ndani ya bunge la kitaifa. Na pia pendekezo lililotolewa na chama cha ODM kwamba Mheshimiwa Millie Odhiambo achukue nafasi ambayo itaachwa na mheshimiwa Junet Mohamed.
Despite Azimio press briefings being done by several leaders in attendance, today was surprisingly unique, with Sifuna doing it all alone, while affirming Wiper endorsed the resolutions.
Nataka nitangaze kwamba vyama vyote tanzu vya Azimio viko pamoja, vimeungana, hakuna mgogoro ndani ya muungano mzima wa Azimio.
If anything, as a party, for me as ACG, I was not consulted on any issue to do with the leadership of the National Assembly. And if we are in Azimio, they should have consulted us.
Meanwhile, it is a scramble for the top leadership positions in the ODM party, as women leaders also want to be considered.
Tunataka kuona kina mama katika Central Management Committee. Tunataka pia kuona kina mama katika NEC, National Executive Council.
Katika ODM na unakuta ya kwamba katika viti za kwanza karibia 10, Central Committee yenyewe hamna mama. Tunaomba sasa kama kina mama wa ODM na tunasema tuko na mama ndiye gavana wa kule Homa Bay, Mama Gladys Wanga.
Already the coastal leaders are demanding that Hassan Joho be replaced by a person of their choice.
One of the deputy party leaders must come from the coast.
Joel Chacha, K24 TV, Nairobi.
Now, that is one of the stories that will be forming the basis of our conversation this morning here on New Dawn. Now, engage us on our socials at K24 TV across social media platforms. Let's continue with the news this morning. Now, for years, traders at Toi Market have faced repeated fires, yet their determination to rebuild bigger and better remains unwavering. Now, reconstruction is once again underway at the market following a devastating fire on Saturday that killed 4 people and left hundreds of traders counting their losses. Now, I report rather on the resilience of business people in a market that has cost them millions, but they refuse to abandon.
Hammer to nail, pole to hole. These are the scenes at Toi Market. Reconstruction is underway as traders eagerly work to get back on their feet. What remains are the shells of what was once a vibrant market that fed and clothed hundreds. For the businesswomen and men here, the pain of losing their bread and butter is almost too much to bear. Joyce, sitting next to the charred remains of her third stall, has been trading at Toi Market for 23 years. She started her business at the age of 25 and with every fire has always faced the loss firsthand.
Mimi kama biashara yangu beli moja ninanunua na 31,500. Ninauza trouser, shati ninanunua na 34,000. Na nikiangalia hiyo stock vile ilikuwa ni over 500.
The latest blaze caught her by surprise, burning everything to ashes and leaving her with nothing. Her entire investment has gone up in flames, reduced to mere remnants.
Ya 2023 nilichomekewa na beli 9, sikuwa nimefungua. Hii nimechomekewa na beli 4, sijafungua. Kwa hivyo hiyo ni kama pesa umechukua ukatupa.
For 23 years, Joy's business has supported her family and funded her children's education, including her firstborn, who is now at KMTC. She says getting back on her feet will require divine intervention. For the mother of 3, Toi Market has been her lifeline despite enduring 5 fires. She remains determined even in the face of her latest loss.
Hata kama ninachomekewa, ninapata nafasi nyingine tena ya kutoka pale chini nikiinuka. Yani sioni mahali pengine ninaweza enda kutafuta kazi.
Joyce isn't alone. Many traders at Toi Market are devastated by the recent inferno that claimed 4 lives.
Penye pesa itatoka nijenge, Mungu ndiye anajua, lakini najua ya kwamba nitasimama kwa muda tu kidogo kidogo. Mungu atanisimamisha.
Ni juzi tu tulichomekewa, tena tukapoteza mali mingi sana ya dhamani. Hizi pesa ambayo tumeweka huku, tunanuka madeni, hata kwa barabara watu wanatuona tu ni madeni.
Mtu amepoteza mali ya over $1 million na we operate on loans. Na loans za bank hazijui kama umechomekewa ama hujachomekewa. Sasa hiyo hasara, kuna mtu hata ametoka kazi. Serikali imeshindwa kutuandika.
na sisi tukajitafutia kazi roho safi.
The traders at Toi Market say the ongoing reconstruction is driven by the personal initiative. Despite promises of donations, they have yet to receive any aid, and many are not optimistic about getting any support. Brian Amuai, K24, Nairobi.
All right, now leadership wrangles at the University of Nairobi continue to take a center stage just a day after Professor Margaret Hutchison took over as acting vice-chancellor. Now, the University Academic Staff Union, UON chapter today, that is yesterday, castigated the University Council over what they termed as humiliation of Professor Stephen Kiama, who is currently suspended. And as Ian Ketani now reports, the union has threatened industrial action if their demands are not met within 7 days.
Friday, the 2nd of August.
The council at its meeting today resolved to suspend the Vice-Chancellor, Professor Stephen Kiama, for 3 months pending ongoing investigations.
Sentiments by Amukoa Anangwe, chairperson of the University of Nairobi Council, were followed by Margaret Hutchinson taking over the reins of power from Stephen Gitai Kiama as the university's vice-chancellor on Monday this week in an acting capacity. The prestigious university has been marred with leadership wrangles in the recent past, the suspension of Professor Stephen Kiama coming just 6 months to the lapse of his 5-year tenure. However, the university's Wasi chapter has today slammed the University Council led by Amukoa Anangwe over the humiliation faced by the embattled and now ousted Vice-Chancellor Stephen Gitai Kiama.
Deploying armed police in full combat gear to the university towers is wrong, and it is not in good taste. Humiliating a full professor at the university in the precincts of the university itself is wrong. It's unwarranted and it's very demeaning. We are urging the University Council, take all the evidence you have, because we've just heard that, I don't know, he has 20 billion missing or something like that. Take all that evidence to the investigative arms of the government.
Despite lauding the move to address financial misappropriation by the council, the union led by its secretary Maloba Wekesa called on the council to follow due procedure as stipulated in the University Act.
We laud the effort by the council to rein in on any financial impropriety, if at all, committed by the now suspended Vice-Chancellor. But it is also in order that this is done with decorum.
While slamming the council over delayed salaries and failure to issue promotion letters to university staff despite undergoing interviews, the union has called on the government to intervene and address the issues at hand.
We demand that the negotiations be launched forthwith. Immediately, they should be launched so that we move forward. Our members have, and that is their welfare, is being affected by the shenanigans that we are seeing within the university management. We also demand that staff who were recently interviewed on promotion should receive their letters with immediate effect.
If their concerns are not addressed within 7 days, the union has threatened to undertake an industrial action.
The University Council needs to act on the demands we are asking. Failure of which we will go back to our members and ask them to shelve their labor. That is the due process of the law. And we are saying this in the presence of the National Secretary General, who is in agreement.
Solidarity forever. Ian Ketani for the Punchline.
Thank you, Ian Ketani, for that particular report. Now, yes, we are done with the news as far as information is concerned, and what you need to know in the news world. That does it for us here on New Dawn. Now, the next segment, we'll be taking a look at what you're waking up to today and what is shaping the agenda of the nation today. And also have a conversation later on the state of politics in the country. I'll be speaking to a panelist. I'm going to introduce you later on. But also, just a reminder that we want to take a break. But when we come back, we'll be taking a look at the dailies. What are you waking up to as far as newspapers are concerned? We're talking about the People Daily, our own production here at Media Max Limited. The Nation, and also The Standard and The Star and Taifa Leo. All those newspapers will be telling you exactly what the headline is and what you're waking up to and why you should grab a copy and read it as far as news is concerned. Now, Advice Mundalo here. Yes. Thank you so much for making time this morning.
Thank you too. Thank you for having me.
Now, this is the thing. Tomorrow is Nane Nane. Are you taking to the streets or comfort of your home?
I'll be at work because I'm still not seeing the major reason why we need to be on the street, because every time we present our grievances, we must be able to present grievances and also allow governance to work. Okay, so the issues that have been presented, what's your take on that if you say you still do not see a reason as to why we need to be there on the streets? Yeah, because we were able to present the issues that would be bedeviling the country, and rightfully so. We had the finance bill issue, which was recalled, with the issue of the cabinet secretaries, with the president dissolved, and then was able to constitute a new team. And so when I look at these, I feel like now we are supposed to be able to also give governance a chance, because if we will be on the street every other time, then at what time will we also be able to now develop our country? So we haven't given that. I do not really think that it is very necessary. Giving a chance, how much time do we need to do that? How much time do we need to do what? To give that particular period, grace period, when it comes to, you know, allowing the government to work before we again start questioning or calling them to account? I cannot be able to maybe say there is any threshold that has been given out there, but there is what is reasonable time. Because when you implement changes anywhere, you must be able to allow reasonable time. Now, we're coming back to have more conversations on the state of politics in the country, and just looking forward, of course, to tomorrow being Nane Nane. What exactly should we expect? The police have given a directive on exactly how they are going to be conducting that particular event, the protest rather, and how they are going to be managing that and handling that. That will be coming later on. And also I'll be speaking to Honorable Peter Orero, who is the Member of Parliament, Kibra constituency, and Zach Kinuthia, who is former Chief Administrative Secretary, and of course Advice Mundalo, who is the National Youth Chair, the Jubilee Party. We take a break. We'll be back in a few.